We at the Adventure Bike Shop have used our experience from our own halfway around the world and back travels. To put together a range of products that we think are top quality, will last you a trip. Brands we know and trust, products we've used ourselves. Dumb products, and what am I going to say? Welcome to the Adventure Bike Shop. This is now getting good.
The Adventure Bike Shop, proud sponsors of
Adventure Bike TV.
Hello my friends, I welcome you here to watch our programme at this special time of year. It may sound strange and quite sublime, but my producer told me to present in rhyme. So I'll try my best to rhyme away, and I truly hope you can bear to stay. For it's time to laugh and jump with glee. You are watching a Christmas adventure bike TV. So a bike we must now review and give our opinions, always true. On this month's show we have a Triumph. It's nice and pretty and like, alright, I give up, you win, can't do it. Right, so there is absolutely no way I'm going to be able to continue doing that in rhyme. But it is on with the show. And as always, first up is our bike review, and this month we've got Triumph's Tiger 800 XC. For this month's bike review, we're looking at one of the class-leading middleweight bikes, the Triumph Tiger 800 XC. And to shake things up a little bit in terms of location, I've brought a few friends with me to Norway.
The wonderful world of adventure bikes so often seems to be dominated by discussion around the big boys, or on the other end of the scale around how to go budget on a scooter or some kind of older multi-purpose bike. Somewhere along the line, the discussion around the middle ground of your 600 to 800cc bikes just seems to be a bit like an afterthought. A page 4 quarter insert to the big boys' front page grabbing headlines. But there is a little brother wolf peeking out from behind the bodybuilder bulk of the Triumph Explorer. The Tiger 800 XC deserves recognition all of its own. It looks the part. It's purposeful looking, without the need for the steroidal muscle bulk which most of the big boys have. Having said that, I think the standard bike can benefit from a few adventure styling accessories. A decent sump guard, adventure fog lights and engine bars will all help it to stamp some authority in the looks department. The Tiger Triple power plant sits at the centre of the Triumph brand resurgence. It is well documented and even more widely acknowledged that you get the smooth revs and top-end power of an inline 4 without sacrificing too much of the low-end torque commonly found in twins like its closest competitor, the BMW F800 GS. What's probably less well known is that because of the longer crank throw, you'll be the delighted recipient of a slower revving, easy to use power curve with 70% of the torque available below 4,000 revs. perfect for off-road riding. Riding the bike really surprised me, particularly off-road. On gravelly trails and muddy paths, it handled surprisingly well. It felt like it was built to stand up on, which made it comfortable and gave me a real sense of security. On the tarmac, having that 3-cylinder engine made it feel more like riding a sports bike, but in a comfortable upright position. My only real criticism relates to that lovely engine. I've just got a little bit too used to the gravelly rumble and the vibration of a twin, whether it's inline, boxer or a V-twin. On some level, that smooth 3-cylinder power unit just feels a bit wrong in an off-road capable bike. It's not. Far from it. It's a great engine. It just feels a bit weird to me.
So, I've been riding the Triumph Tiger XC800 for quite a few days now. What do I think of it? Overall, I actually think it's a great bike. It's fast, the brakes are pretty good. For an 800, the size, actually for me at 6'3", is fantastic. And it has been a faithful companion for quite a number of miles. I guess the big question is, would I have one of these in my garage? Yes, absolutely. If I wanted an 800cc or around that sort of size of bike, I would definitely put one of these in there. You'll remember that back in the October show, we met up with Simon Pavey and his son Lel in Pavey & Son. Now that their entries into the Dakar Rally have been confirmed, we joined them the day before their bikes went off to scrutineering. Welcome to Pavey & Son, Part 2.
Simon Pavey and his son Llewellyn are just hours away from leaving with their bikes and support truck for Le Havre in France. If they miss their ferry that leaves in just 6 hours' time, they won't make it to scrutineering and their dreams will be over.
So how are you feeling about doing a rally with your son?
Oh, come on, Tom. Try harder than that. I've answered that question to loads of boring people before, and I know you're more innovative than that.
This is Simon's 10th Dakar and Lel's first. Their aim is to become the first father and son team to finish the Dakar, hardest rally in the world.
Are you one for all for one, or are you your own separate races?
Fuck that, mate. He's on his own. It's the answer you want, isn't it? Looked after him for long enough now. He can bloody well get on with it.
But if you get into trouble, he has to stop and help you.
Yeah. Obviously, duh. In fact, he has to come back and help me.
Are you shitting yourself?
Yeah, quite a lot, yeah. Yeah, there's a big shit done every day actually at the moment. About once in the morning, once about 3 o'clock. Yeah, no, well, obviously I'd be a bit weird if I wasn't, wouldn't it? So, yeah.
So who is the team that you're taking this year?
We've got John here, John Weldon. Good morning. He's taking charge of everything that we can't do, which is basically pretty much everything. And then good old Ev, spinning the spanners. Although he went and got all romantic today and had to bugger off and do something with his good lady, so ridiculous sentimental fool. I'm in a very serious mood today, aren't I? I think you bring out the worst in me, Tom.
I'm kind of hoping that the riding's going to be super fun. That's kind of the point of it, really. You don't ride motorbikes because they're really fun to ride. So, yeah, I'd quite like it if it was quite fun along the way.
And how do you feel about your bike? What's your bike like?
Yeah, bike's awesome. I'm not really too worried about it. I was really nervous until I rode it. You look at them, and you know I ride a lot of big bikes, and I look at them and I go, "Fuck, that's a big bike," you know. Yeah, but when you get on it and you start riding it, it's really not. It's not hard to manage at all, really. It's dead easy. It's fast. It handles well. Suspension's really, really good. Out of the box, there's nothing wrong with it really, which is nice. it's always a nice place to be, to get on a bike and go, oh, I don't really need to fix this.
Like you see when you've got this kind of equipment like everybody's got nowadays, you know, the bikes are so good, and okay, things always still go wrong, it's motorsport, but everything's sort of reliable and, you know, easier to ride than it used to be in the old days, so it's kind of raised the accessibility of it and raised the level. You know, you've got just a lot of really good riders turning up, and everyone can ride one of these bikes, because, you know, when you ride one, the thing's incredible. You know, you ride it, it's not much different to riding an enduro bike anymore. So other things have come into play, like I say, the speed and yeah, how close everyone is in level. So, you know, you go the wrong way for a little bit or make one little mistake and you drop back 20 places, you know, and that just puts you in a dust cloud. And so it's a little bit more fighting all that stuff that's important now.
First time I've ever gone to a race and I don't want to do well. You know, like whenever I did a race the other day in Dubai, and it's like, it's totally not my environment, in the desert, and I don't know how to ride in the dunes. I can't read that desert sand, I don't know what I'm looking for. And yet it still really pissed me off that I didn't do very well. But when it comes to Dakar, I think I have no ambition at all to have a result. I don't really care where I finish, I just want to be at the finish, if that makes sense. I think for me, especially, I get quite excited when I start racing. I've been known to have a little crash or two when I get excited as well, so I'm just trying to keep my feet on the ground really, and not worry about whether people are coming past me, or if I'm riding slow or riding well. I'm just gonna ride a pace where I'm never trying too hard, you know, because that's when you get suckered into going racing with people. I think you're gonna get hurt quite easily in Dakar. I've seen it with some very good and very experienced riders on even on early stages, where they've put themselves out through stupid mistakes because they've gone too hard too soon, you know. I think you just have to let it happen.
And we know that Lel's got the riding skill, but mentally, if it gets tough, do you think he's got it in him to carry on through the kind of?
Yeah, I think he's got that stuff. I think so. I mean, you never really know till you put yourself in that situation. I think that side of it, he's good, really. He doesn't sort of scare me with his riding or how he looks at life, because he is pretty calm. You know, he's a calm person, really. Yeah, what he's missing is, you know, something that you can't get without going and doing it the hard way yourself. It's just that experience, really. The dealing with, if stuff does go wrong, kind of making a new plan and making a new solution and dealing with that, you know. And yeah, I don't know how he'll deal with that, and he doesn't know how he'll deal with that. And like I say, you can't really ever know that till you put yourself in that scenario. And can't put yourself in that scenario training. You know, you can only do it when the pressure's on and there's nowhere else to go but forwards.
Despite the time pressures, Simon and Lel are their normal, chilled out selves, as they do the finishing touches on the bikes and pack the support truck.
This is definitely the best job in the whole part of the process, because it definitely feels like you're going racing once you put stickers on.
I'm happy to report that they made it and had no problems with scrutineering. We at Adventure Bike TV wish them the very best of luck in the Dakar, and we will keep you updated.
We wish Simon and Lel all the very best of luck in the Dakar Rally, and once they're finished, we'll be back to see how they went along. Now it's time for the break, and when we come back, we've got a whole bunch of Christmas gift ideas for adventure motorcyclists. And we've got what might be a slightly controversial under the visor with Nick Sanders.
We have have the largest selection of hard luggage under the one roof in this country. Bollocks.
Ludo Loco. Ludo Loco is a brand new online social community made specifically to suit bikers everywhere. Whether you ride a sports bike, adventure bike or even a hog, we invite you to join for free. Every member gets access to a host of great features where you can meet new riders from your area and anywhere in the world. Arrange ride-outs, talk about the latest news and gossip from trackside to the other side of the world. Share videos, pictures, blogs with everyone. And no one gets preached to like many other sites. The content is only submitted by people like you. Finally, we give you a great way to sell your bikes or anything else at a price that beats all competitors. So join Ludo Loco, the motorcycle community that's riding forward together.
We are the sole UK stockist of the Redvers 10, the original park your bike in the garage 10. We also have a range of tents and other camping equipment from a number of trusted brands. That was
Welcome back. Now, what do you do if your partner or your son or your daughter or your dad or your mum or just somebody you know is a keen adventure motorcyclist? You can't buy them parts for their bike, so what on earth do you buy them for Christmas?
We've got a wide range of Christmas gift ideas here. Everything from a £5 to over £100. So let's take a look. Kendall mint cake. Don't leave home without it. For any person who likes going outdoors. Jetboils are great pieces of kit in all their shapes and forms, but this one's been designed specifically to create the perfect cup of coffee. So here's a question for you. If you're just a one-man band camping, that's all you need. You don't need to have, you can cook your food and everything like that, can't you? The perfect cup of coffee is never complete, especially in the evening, without a little something to warm it up. And what better way to carry it than in your compass flask? But, nice plain back. You can engrave some kind of loving comment on there about how much you love your partner going away motorcycling for days or weeks or months on end. Some form of Leatherman, and I do particularly like the Wingman and I have one myself, is almost a must-have, I think, for any adventurer. It's a knife of many different dimensions with a set of pliers. The AirPro tyre repair kit is particularly useful because it doesn't require an airline or an air pump. It uses CO2 bottles to fill your tyre up. It's a bit lighter than the GS Toolkit. But if anyone's ever had experience using these things, they're actually really, really good. Because you've got all your bits you need for fixing tubeless tyres, including your air. Petzl are renowned for producing really, really high quality torches. And this one's got an extra special little trick up its sleeve because it's got no strap. Or at least that's what you think until you pull the string out and you put a string around your head. Very, very lightweight. Right. Oh, I see. Right. Oh, I don't know what to say. What's that remind me of? It's like a yo-yo. Oh, I say, that's very posh. I never knew that Van Gogh made torches, but they do. And these ones those great little bendy things that of course you can bend into very useful shapes to read your map on the table, trendy necklace, over your head, etc. This Pro Series toolset is made specifically for the BMW GS1200. So if you've got a GS1200 and you have this toolkit, you'll know that you've got every single spanner and other tool that you might potentially need. You can tell it's a GS toolkit because it's big. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing, and it's a good thing because you have got pretty much a complete workshop in here, including insulation tape and what I would imagine actually is for removing your oil filter. A short ride in the jungle, the Ho Chi Minh Trail by motorcycle. Now, I actually met Antonia, who wrote this book, at Motorcycle Live, and she is delightful, and if the book's anywhere near as good as she was to talk to, it'll be wonderful. Ants has pulled off not only a demanding and original adventure, but a great read too. A short ride in the jungle informs and entertains in just the right measures. Lowest price, motorcycle adventurer and author. A t-shirt from the Adventure Bike Shop, made of appropriate wicking material. I'm a big fan of the logo on the back. Does it look like I'm wearing it now? Can you tell I'm actually not wearing it? Adventure motorcycle calendar. I wanted to draw your attention on the calendar to one particular photograph of me riding the perfect wheelie across some very, very tough terrain. A mug and a mat set from Sparta. It's got a non-slip thing on it. And it's a mug. There's only one thing that's better than a book by Nathan Millwood, and that is 2 books by Nathan Millwood and a useful leaflet. Safe travels for 2015, Nathan and Dorothy. If you don't know, Dorothy's his bike. Merry Christmas, you've won the booby prize, ? Nathan and Dorothy. On this month's competition, one lucky winner is going to win everything you've just seen in that feature on Christmas gifts. And for that, we've come up with a particularly challenging question. The question is, what time of year do you give Christmas presents? Is it A, Easter? Is it B, April Fool's Day? Or is it C, Christmas? If you want to enter the competition, go onto the website, go to the competition page and click to enter. And now, for a little bit of light entertainment.
Merry Christmas! What are you going to do?
Merry Christmas.
Jambo! Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Meandering Motorbikes, Lake Victoria, Kenya.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Oh, what fun it is to ride on one horse open sleigh. Oh.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Hey!
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Hey!
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Oh, what fun it is to run in a one-horse open sleigh.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Oi!
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Hey!
Okay, that was weird, actually. But okay, not much more you can say about it. So there's going to be quite a few of you that over the last couple of weeks saw an article in Motorcycle News about Nick Sanders, the man, his adventures and his life. There was also a fairly controversial piece about his views on Long Way Round, Charlie Boorman and Ewan McGregor. Now we've got Nick Sanders on Under the Visor, and we tackled him about his life, what he's done, what he's been proud of, and his very personal and not our views on that piece in Motorcycle News.
James Cargo Motorcycle Shipping sponsors Under the Visor.
This is Nick Sanders, and we're talking to Adventure Bike TV about this, that and the other in my life, such as it is. There we are. I suppose it's these two volumes, what are they, 340,000 words. Didn't start out like that. I didn't mean to write so much. I didn't know what was going to come out basically when I started writing it. I had absolutely no idea. I started off with the first word and I took the second word, first step, second step, that sort of thing. And it all started to fit into place. I suddenly realised that this was a story that needed to be told. It wasn't a little bit like Lance Armstrong. It's not just about the bike. It's about the person behind the bike, of course, and the life involved in that person behind the bike. It's become very important to me, I guess, and I'm glad it's been told, and I'm getting a lot of response from people who've read it, and I think they've enjoyed the detail and the in-depth, accounts of my life. I think there's resonance, there's something there which they can relate to, they can empathise with the difficulties. This isn't been an easy life, and I think as a consequence of that it's made me simply what I am. No, I think not all the journeys have been record-breaking. In actual fact, Parallel World it was quick, but it wasn't a record-breaking journey. Now there was Parallel Coast, for example. I mean, I always call my journeys by a particular kind of conceptual name, like The Incredible Ride was when I went up and down the Americas very fast. That was a record-breaking journey, of course. The fastest man around the world, clearly, was had a particular feel to it, a fast feel, if you like. I don't think I've missed out at all. I think what I did was what I had to do at the time. I lived the life on a bike at that time as it needed to be lived. I needed record-breaking journeys to give me prominence, I suppose, and I needed to give the bikes, the particular type of bikes I was on, an added level of, or a layer of credence. You go on an R1, you don't ride it slowly, and I think the fact that I took it across the Nubian desert slowly, oddly enough, was added to the credence of the vehicle. Remember, I'm sponsored. I have a responsibility to my sponsors and to the people who supply me vehicles. It's very difficult when you have that kind of thing happen. And we've had, been one or two other occasions when we've had accidents on the trips. It's inevitable. Riding a motorcycle is dangerous. It's inherently dangerous. All we can do is minimise the fateful consequences or the difficulties. We've got a doctor and a driver who's military trained and myself with a vast amount of experience. So all we can do is provide the support to my riders in the best possible way. And that really kind of gives them the the confidence to enjoy their vacation or enjoy their, however they want to call it, their challenge. Yes, it's hard. It doesn't come easy, of course. One is compassionate. One has a heart. But we live in that world, and I intend to continue with it. Well, I think actually, to be honest, I may have to make some kind of retraction about the bikes because I'm not entirely sure that was the case or not. And I think there's a lot of people think that. That's the problem. A lot of people think there was an awful lot of backup to that project. And hey, I may have to hold my hands up and say I was wrong about that, and we will do a retraction if need be. But that's not the point. That's not the big issue. I think it's to do with the fact that the Long Way Round project, and I knew this would cause a degree of controversy, and that's not a bad thing entirely. you know, a lot of people say things, and I think perhaps I was writing something and I wanted to blow off a little bit of steam. It's quite hard, you know, when the humbler members of the adventure fraternity, like myself, if you like, work very hard for 23 years and do extremely hard journeys without support, without film backup, all that sort of thing. And these chaps come along and all of a sudden, you know, kind of take over really. And I think in some ways that's a good thing. I'm not against that. I think the concept was a good concept. I think what they did for the motorcycle industry was absolutely a good thing. No question about it, absolutely. But it's not the greatest thing. You know, there are some very great adventures out there and very great journeys which don't get any coverage whatsoever. I think that's what I was trying to say really, you know, that we are out there without backup, in dangerous situations, getting relatively little praise or, you know, affection from the wider public. And sometimes it's hard, you know, when you spend your whole life devoted to motorbiking and trying to be empathetic with your fellow rider, and especially when, in actual fact, there's no question about it, and this is my opinion, but, you know, I think my level of literature and style of writing is very involved. I was a bit disappointed with the standard of literature in the book, The Long Way Round, but I think I'm entitled to my opinion. And I think that, you know, they deserved more, you know. I think in that sense maybe it's a bit rushed. Maybe they should have got somebody to write it, maybe, or ghostwrite it or whatever. Maybe they wrote it themselves, but that was my criticism really as a writer, to be honest. You know, I think what they did was, overall, was fine. But there are some very great projects out there too. Well, you know, I grew up in the old-fashioned way, you know, where Chris Bonnet and Ranulph Fiennes, you know, Sir Robin Knox-Johnson, all these sort of people were doing their thing, and by and large they were doing it for the first time. I think there was a lot of firsts 30-odd years ago, much less so now. Now it seems to be possibly the fastest or the most extreme. I think the Red Bull organisation have taken over the concept of adventure. And in some ways, as far as young people are concerned, again, that's a good thing. I'm not against progress. You know, I'm not a dinosaur. Just because I motorbike around the world doesn't mean to say I'm, you know, the greatest of adventurers. I'm just part of a long line of people who do extreme stuff. Although I've done it for 33 years, you know. I've motorbiked around the world 7 times after all. You know, I don't think anyone else has done that. And I bicycle around the world, and I don't think anyone else has done that and motorbike around the world. I like the people like Robert Dunlop, for example. He was one of my heroes because he seemed to be such a modest man. Now, why isn't he an adventurer? Of course he is. He's an adventurer in speed. You know, John McGuinness, they are a kind of adventurer just because they don't do what they're doing across India or across Delhi or whatever. You know, Carl Fogarty doesn't ride along the length of Indonesia. Now, this is a kind of a fusion. This is something I can't quite explain quickly. But, you know, there are adventurers in their own right. It's, you know, what you call, you know, what does adventure mean? Well, you know, publishing books has become a lot easier. That doesn't mean to say the books are any better. You know, there's a lot of boring books out there. You know, a lot of wasted paper. You know, people think because it's easy to publish a book or make a film, they're automatically a filmmaker or a publisher. It's not the case. My last book, but both the last books have taken me 2 years to write, and I've been writing more or less 8 hours a day. You know, I'll sit all day sometimes crafting a sentence or working out a paragraph. Now, some of these people aren't doing that. You know, they think you just write a book and that's it. It therefore becomes readable. I don't believe that's the case. And it's the same with filmmaking. You know, you have to be very precise, a little Aspergic perhaps. You have to look at, you know, making films to the nearest millisecond. You know, you've got to cut and edit to a very fine, precise degree. Otherwise it can look just a tad shoddy. Having said that, I think it's great that everybody's making films. Good, why not? But the good filmmakers or the good films will eventually rise to the surface like cream in milk. And I think that generally applies to most things in life. But I could be wrong. Well, to a degree, for them to make it affordable for themselves. They don't have to buy into the big bikes. They can go off on a small bike, you know, on a Honda 90 or a 125 or something which is affordable from the point of view of you know, fuel economy, and also weight, if you're actually flying your bikes from continent to continent, if you're thinking about going around the world. Or really, you don't go around the world. You know, adventure's on your doorstep. It's up to you, it's up to that young person to come up with something maybe a bit unique, something new, And I'm absolutely in favour of that. You know, if somebody wants to come and break my record, fine, but breaking records is expensive. I had a problem with the Incredible Ride when I was doing the length of the Americas. The previous incumbent of that record actually hired a private plane from Panama to Cartagena in Colombia, and that was something I felt I didn't want to have to do. That's just an extra $10,000 out of my budget. I refused to do, so I took a commercial flight and lost a bit of time, and therefore didn't quite get the record. So, you know, you have to kind of pick and choose what you can afford, and then try and be unique, and then stick to it and believe in what you do. I think the point is it can be done. Absolutely, there's always something new, and I'd love to see young people doing it. It's hard to say really. I'm just about to sign a deal with Yamaha in Europe, and we shall see what that remains to do for me. It's called Destination Adventure. I'm sort of spearheading it, you know. I'm looking forward to see where that goes. I don't know where we're going with it yet. We've still got a lot of negotiations about whether I go away on a solo journey, or whether it involves people coming to me to my expedition centre in Wales, or whatever. But yes, there are lots of things I'm planning to do.
James Cargo Motorcycle Shipping sponsors Under the Visor.
So, Nick Sanders, a man of controversy, a man of undoubted achievement, and a man who needs a comb. We're back after the break, where we'll be taking a brief look at the first 2 episodes of my new TV series, The Great Arctic Bike Off, and we'll be doing a report from Motorcycle Live.
Adventure Bike Shop, we also do a wide range of soft luggage, if that's more your thing.
We really care about the adventure motorcycle market and try to make it as many shows as possible to see our customers. So if you can't come to the shop, come see us at a show.
Welcome back from the break. Now, in addition to Adventure Bike TV, I also do the occasional TV series on my own, which are all about what's an amazing and life-changing travel adventure that you can do in 2 weeks. And last summer, I went off with a group of friends to do the Great Arctic Bike Off. Setting out to prove that it is possible to have a life-changing travel adventure in just 2 weeks has become a bit of an obsession with me. My name is Graham Hoskins, and this particular 2-week travel adventure will take our team almost 5,000 miles in just 2 weeks, all the way along the Arctic Highway to Nordkapp in Norway, the
northernmost point of Europe. Finding the most interesting people to meet and places to see will bring us all the way back home from NordCap, through Finland and Eastern Europe, on the Great Arctic Bike-Off.
Right, it's 5 to 8 on Saturday morning, and for me, I'm actually caught in that kind of really weird place between being really excited about going and a slight nervousness that have I made sure I've sorted out every single thing and ticked every single box. And in reality, you can't tick every box, so I've just got to stop worrying about it and enjoy it. We've got a little ride to go and pick up Martin, and then a couple of 100 miles up to Grimsby to the hotel, where we're going to spend the afternoon probably rechecking the kit that we've checked 10 times already. Got some interviews with journalists and so on and so forth. But we're finally going to actually get on these bikes and get going. Not that I'm thinking we're off the schedule already, but can you hurry up?
As we were catching a commercial ferry, not a passenger ferry, our departure time was unusual, about 2 in the morning. We took advantage of the late departure time to meet with the press outside of the Humber Royal Hotel in Grimsby. Mark was not taking the interview particularly seriously. Once the press stuff was over, we had the chance to chill a bit until we had to leave for the ferry.
My name is Graham Hoskins, and on this Arctic Challenge I've brought a team of 4 ninjas. Tom, I said 4 ninjas.
I sucks, guys.
However, we are not sit-around types, and we got bored.
Ninjas, sleep!
Our very first navigational challenge was to find the dock for the ferry. A combination of poor instructions and a total lack of signposts had us riding round in circles.
Almost lost each other at the first hurdle there. Anyway, these lovely security people are going to help us and show us the way. Thanks for your help. Cheers, much appreciated. Cheers, guys.
Our first day finished at 3 in the morning, and we'd ridden just a little over 200 miles.
I've ridden through countless sunsets, but I've never ever ridden through a sunrise. I've just never got up quite that early. I have to say, it is amazing to finally be on the road properly. It's good. We finally feel like we've started. Finally.
Today, our early start is taking us southeast, skirting the Elbe estuary and river on our way to Hamburg, before we turn and head north towards Denmark, a ferry over to Norway, much later this evening.
It's really cold. We're only 100 miles into the first bit of the first day, which isn't really the sort of adventurous bit because we're still in Germany. But the temperature gauge on the bike was saying it was in fact going between 1 and 4 degrees all the way here from Cuxhaven. And we're now in Hamburg. We've got slightly more time today, and we thought we'd try and find somewhere interesting and different to come to in Hamburg, which just happens to be in the red light district. The boys have gone off to get some breakfast from McDonald's, which apparently is plastered with pictures of naked women. Of course, I had no interest in going and seeing that. Motorways are great because they get you places really fast. However, they're really boring, and Mark keeps falling asleep. So we decided, as we've only got 120 miles to go, we'd hit the A roads.
After our 2:30 in the morning start and 250 miles of cold and rain, the sunshine of northern Denmark was just the tonic we needed as we rode on late into the afternoon.
We're at Lillehammer, former site of Winter Olympics.
Full name is Mia Merete Amy Havne Mognes, but I just stick to Mia when I speak to Norwegian and Amy when I speak to English people. In the summer we try to provide, because there's a lot of Olympic resorts, arenas that just shuts down after the Olympics, and it's a shame. We try to keep it alive. We go up to 100 kilometers an hour and you experience 3G forces when you go down. Norwegian Gold Medalist Championship. I don't know what's it called. I'm a gold medalist. I won a gold medal. I won a gold medal.
The guys at Lillehammer had opened up especially for us. Despite the lack of engines, this was a ride we were desperate to take. That was just a few snippets from the first 2 episodes of the Great Arctic Bike Off. Now it is showing every Wednesday at 10 PM on Community, which you can see here. And there's another 4 episodes. Enjoy. Over the last few months you'll have seen 3 presenters on Adventure Bike TV. Yours truly, Nathan Millwood and Tammy Howard. And we haven't seen much of Tammy over the last few months, so I took her along with me to Motorcycle Live. We're here at Motorcycle Live. We've come to see all the new adventure bikes and to meet some of our old friends.
And I'm in the market for my first ever adventure bike. So let's see what's here.
Before I came to the show, I was reading about a brand new adventure bike that Honda are going to bring to the show. And when we came here, we were searching for it and we found it right up behind me. And it looks absolutely amazing. When we went and asked the Honda team, what brand new adventure bike is it? They said, we can't tell you. When I asked, is it the brand new Africa Twin? They said, we can't tell you. So have a guess what it might be. It's quite hard to tell when you're looking at it, the specifics about it, mainly because it's looking so cool because it's covered in mud, but it just looks brilliant and I'm really excited about the bike.
Right, today I'm on a mission. I need to find my very first adventure bike. It needs to be something to suit my needs. It needs to be lightweight in case I drop it. I need to be able to touch the ground, and I just want it to look pretty. So I've spent the day looking around all the stalls at lots of different bikes, and one of my favourites has got to be this CCM GP450. This is the lowered version, and as you can see, it's the perfect height for me, so it's a maybe.
Every year at Bike Show Live, it's great to see that the influence of adventure bikes is extending and extending. In fact, this year, Triumph are calling 2015 their year of adventure bikes.
So here we've got the Tiger 800. We've got two versions of the 800, the XR, which is a road version, and the XC, which you see here, which is the off-road version. Main difference is alloy wheels on the XR, 17-inch front wheel, 21-inch on the XC. And the difference in suspension, the XC gets WP suspension now, front and rear, against the XR, which has got Showa, more road-orientated suspension. The big difference as well is in the new bike is it's gone ride-by-wire. So all of the bikes have gone ride-by-wire throttle, which gives about 17% more fuel economy, 270 miles per gallon on a tank range, which is a big plus for all those riders from going to the petrol station every day.
I'm on the Triumph stand, and I was particularly looking at the 800s and the new range, and when I first saw them, I found it just a little bit confusing because there was two different types and types within types, but once I've had it explained, it all makes perfect sense. So you've got the road version, you've got the more cross-country off-road version, and within each of those you've got a version which you can tweak yourself. Makes perfect sense.
So the Triumph Scrambler is getting more and more popular. It really is one of our best-selling bikes at the moment. 865cc engine, 59 horsepower, low down, different gearing than the rest of the Bonnie range. Makes it great for green laning, slight off-road, but on-road facility. This one's fitted with an Arrow exhaust, gives it a different sound, quite a lot more meaty. Available in 3 colours. This is a new black colour, also red and blue, and really great bike for all-round day-to-day use.
I was having a dream last night where I was dreaming about riding the ultimate scrambler. And then I came here to the bike show and realised actually that my dream was a load of rubbish, and this is actually the ultimate scrambler. It is just phenomenal. And everybody who watches the show knows I like to make analogies with people you see on TV. This one makes me think of David Beckham. It's lean, it's mean, and it's covered in tattoos. But I'm not sure about the squeaky voice thing, but anyway, it's just brilliant.
Okay, you've joined us on the BMW stand. I'm on the 650, as this is the bike that most people have recommended to me for my first bike. So I'm joined by Simon, who's going to tell me why it'd be a fantastic choice for my first bike.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good choices, but it's a great first bike for sure. It's relatively low, but the biggest thing about it, I think this bike's really easy to ride. 650 single cylinder, the power delivery is really smooth and easy, throttle control's easy, and I think when you're first learning to ride, the two most difficult things to get your head around is throttle control and clutch control.
Yeah.
And when I've been teaching people to ride before, I tend to find people lean one way or the other. Some people kind of quite naturally pick up the throttle control, and others pick up the clutch control first. It's hard to learn everything at once, and this is really great from that point of view. The throttle control is really easy on this bike. Soft power, it just looks after you really.
I like the seat. The seat's a lot comfier than the CCM.
And the colour.
Yeah, I love the look of it. Absolutely love the look of it. So it's not a bad choice.
Yeah.
I think this is number 1 so far. I like it.
I'm Kirsty Cross here at the NEC Motorbike Live Show. Adventure Bike TV, why are you always only doing things with 2 wheels? Why don't you try with 4? 4 can do everything that 2 wheels can. It's just as much fun. So Adventure Bike TV, I challenge you to do an adventure on a quad bike.
As we've just seen on the show, Simon and Nell Pavey are going to be off to the Dakar Rally early next year. We bumped into Len at the BMW stand at the show. Just wanted to say good luck.
Thank you very much, man.
And congratulations for getting in. It's a big deal. You're only about 12. So. Do you know where it puts you in sort of the rankings of the youngest?
I'm one of the younger people. There's been a few, a young Dutch guy who was only 19. He's a really good rider, and a couple other people who are kind of like 21, 22. I think I'm second youngest Australian. There was a guy called Jake Smith who was 23, but he's about 6 months younger than I'll be. So, yeah.
I did make that very, very, very clear that Ellie's racing and riding for Australia, not for Wales or England.
I'm not Welsh or English. I might sound a bit funny, but I'm most definitely neither of those things.
So are you more excited, more nervous, or just kind of...
I have days where I kind of go between the two, really. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, what the hell am I doing? And other times I'm like, just super excited to go ride my bike, really. It's just, it's 2 weeks riding your bike across a massive desert, isn't it? It's quite an exciting thing. So, yeah, it's going to be really tough. There's no doubt about that. The days are going to be really long. But yeah, it should be good.
And again, for anybody who doesn't know enough about how tough the Dakar Rally is, it's a long days, but how long can they be?
Well, most of the days are kind of going to be at least 10 hours on the bike. You're up at kind of 4 or 5 every morning, and the shortest days in Dakar are like 500 kilometers of riding in a day. But that will be 500 really slow kilometers. That'll be like 30 k's an hour, 40 k's an hour average speed. And the long days, the longest day we've got this year is 1,024 kilometers. But it's all off-road, so it's a long, long way. 600 miles on a bike, on any bike's a long way, but 600 miles on a dirt bike's pretty intense.
Yeah, and that's like riding from sort of here to Poland on dirt tracks.
Yeah, in one day.
In one day.
Yeah, so, and finding your own way the whole way, and you only get to stop probably 1,000 guys four times in a day for 15 minutes. That's your stop time. So.
I got that to maybe standing up.
Standing up, sitting down, but also because you're racing still, you are trying hard. You're not cruising along looking at the scenery. You are trying to stay out of the dust and stay in front of the person behind you. So yeah.
Well, we're watching it. Congratulations again.
Thanks again, man.
Best of luck. See you come back.
Yeah, thank you.
Come tell us about it.
Yeah, I will.
I'm now on the Yamaha 660. Great bike, love the look of it again, but I can't touch the ground, so this is a no-go for me. On the plus side, it's a very comfortable seat.
I hope you'll remember that the very, very first bike we reviewed on Adventure Bike TV was a CCM 450 Adventure. And we really like the bike, so I'm very, very pleased now that we're back with the guys from CCM, John Grogan, who's now looking after sales. And there's quite a big announcement from CCM now.
Yeah, it's fantastic news that we're here at the NEC, and tomorrow customer number 1 will take delivery of the very first bike off the production line. So it's a fantastic landmark achievement. British bikes, superb quality, and we're just taking on production line number 2 from next week. So taking orders actively from the show.
Well, that's fantastic. It's good news because I think a lot of people have been waiting for quite a long time. So
yeah, and it's great. CCM has got a rich heritage, a great following. Those people have been loyal, and we're going to deliver them a fantastic bit of kit.
So this is the KTM 1050 Adventure, which fits nicely as an introduction to adventure riding. It's the perfect introduction. It's A2 compliant, which means that it can be restricted to the right power level. As a standard bike comes in at 95 horsepower, but its electronics are limited, so nothing scary to go on there. There's ABS and traction control, and that's it. So as a compared against the 1290, for instance, which is fully laden with electronics, the 1050 is very, very simple and a nice entry-level bike.
When I first saw the 1050, I didn't quite understand it, but now it's been explained to me about the licensing types and the reason why it's going to be less than 2 times the 47 horsepower. It all makes perfect sense.
So this is the KTM 1290 Adventure, Super Adventure, which is a fully loaded luxury cruiser. It's got pretty much everything on it: heated grips, heated seats, traction control, cornering ABS, standard ABS, multi-power modes that you can put into it, and everything in between. So it's the perfect bike to cover massive amounts of miles in Europe.
Hi, I'm Alan Jones, I'm the Press Manager of Ducati UK, and I'm here with the Multistrada 1200S. This is new for 2015. The main differences you'll see is the fairing, newly designed front, and also the engine, the new DVT engine, which makes it much smoother at lower revs. Also, we've got LED cornering lights, cornering ABS. The engine is up to 160 horsepower. We've lowered the seat as well, which is adjustable. So we've listened to customers' opinions and made it a much more easier bike to handle. So I'm here with the new Ducati Scrambler. Now the Scrambler is a new brand for Ducati. It comes in 4 different models, 2 different versions. Sorry, it's the Icon, the Urban Enduro, the Full Throttle, and the Classic. This one here is the Icon, which comes in 2 colours, the yellow and the red. They're all very different. But what the great thing about them is they're all very personalised. So you can change the panels, you can change the exhaust, the seats. It's a huge array of accessories and clothing as well, which to choose from.
So the show's closed, we had a great time, and Tom, the producer, asked us to do a proper, serious, thought-through finish. And I thought it'd be better to whip Tammy.
Come on, Grandad, run!
That was nice and serious.
We'd like to say thank you to everybody for your help and your support over the last 7 months. I'd like to say a special thank you as well to the team at Adventure Bike TV, which is Tom, to Martin, to Tammy and to Nathan. And to everybody else out there, have a absolutely amazing Christmas and a fantastic New Year, and we'll see you in 2015. A quick competition recap. This month you can win a Motor Hansa Pro Series toolset for a BMW 1200, a Jetboil Java kit, a Leatherman Wingman multi-tool, an Air Pro tyre repair and inflation kit, a Wicking t-shirt from the Adventure Bike Shop, a Petzl Plus light head torch, a Kickerland compass flask, a Vango iLight flexible torch, a Romney's Kendall mint cake pocket tin, 2 tickets to the Adventure Travel Show in January, a mug and coaster from Spada, the Adventure Motorcycle 2015 calendar from Octane Press, a short ride in the jungle, the Outstanding book by Antonia Bolingbroke-Kent, the Nathan Millwood box set, including the long ride home, running towards the light, and planning your own motorcycle adventure, a brief guide, all with personal messages. And a collection of our DVDs, including Mad in the Med, Dakar Dreams, Scooters in the Sahara, and Nick Plum's Adventure Riding Basics. Plus, 3 lucky runners-up will receive a signed copy of Adventures in Motorcycling by the legend that is Chris Scott. To enter the competition, go to adventurebiketv.com and click on the competition page.
One more time and then...
I did great. Great adverts, rubbish at adventures.
You get it wrong, it's yours. Right, we'll do it one more time and then...
I did great. Great adverts, rubbish at adventures.
I didn't hear it click. It's not. It's a recording. It's not a photo. But we will do a photo after this.
We're talking.
Okay. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Rubbish adverts, great